Hello, this is Robert Hunt, Superintendent of Chagrin Falls Schools, and I am continuing my journey to find great students who identify great teachers. And my journey has led me to Sophia Clark, an eighth grader who comes highly acclaimed by her principal, Mrs. DeSenza. Sophia, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here to talk about our amazing teachers.
So before we jump into the teachers that you might have selected, Sophia, you've had a lot of teachers over the year and over the years, and I'm sure a lot of them have made an impact on you, so it's tough to choose. But maybe just in general, what are some characteristics that you have found in teachers that really separate them and make them special for you?
I think some of the best teachers a majority of the teachers I've had this, but they have a huge dedication to teaching. They're always finding new ways to have their students engaged in learning and always trying to come up with fun activities that we can do. And usually out of the ordinary, like going outside or doing like hands-on activities, which I personally helps me learn very well. And I think they've all been very patient, and kind, caring, and empathetic. And a great example of one of these things is with this whole COVID-19 situation where we're in self-quarantine. I mean, they've been very adaptable and finding ways to continue our learning, even though we're not face-to-face in the classroom like we usually would. They're still continuing our learning and making sure that we're on the right track and that we're getting our assignments done, which I think is a really great thing. And they're always checking up on us, which I think is really nice too.
Wow, I tell you what, you said a lot there that is so true to what makes quality teachers who they are. And it's not, very rarely when I ask a student, it's about, do they say, well, it's because they teach math or it's this content. It's a lot of those interpersonal, caring, fun, passionate skills that keep coming out. So that's great to hear. So I know you have narrowed your list down to, three people, or at least I capped you at three. So we'll put that caveat out there. Why don't you go ahead and give us one of your teachers? And I think you've identified three, and two of them are in the middle school. So why don't you start with one in the middle school? Tell me who that is and tell me kind of why they made your list. What makes them special as a teacher?
Well, I think I'd like to start out first by saying that it was, like you said, it was hard to narrow down to two or three teachers, since, I mean, I could say nice things about every teacher that I've had here in Chagrin Falls. I could say several things about them. But yes, back to one middle school teacher that's had a huge impact on me is Mr. Toombs, the eighth grade algebra teacher. And he's had an impact on me as a teacher because I think his way of teaching is amazing. And I think he connects with every single one of his students in a personal level that I think to us is amazing. I mean, because usually our teachers is just, they're people that we see every day, and we sometimes maybe take advantage of that. We get to converse with such amazing people every day, but we never really realize, I mean, the stuff that they have to go to, the stuff that they have to prepare, the worksheets that they have to do in order for us to go through our learning every single day. But I think Mr. Toombs in general, I mean, math has never been my greatest subject. And I mean, he knows that I ask a lot of questions and that I always have lots of wonders and curiosities. And he's always been so great with answering my questions and helping me get on the right track, which I think is really great.
Wow, that's a real compliment to Mr. Toombs, and he's one of those guys that as I walk around, I poke my head in. He never seems to be sitting behind his desk, where students are off doing something. He's always out in the trenches with you, answering questions and working. So that's a great description of what he offers and what he is as an educator. So thank you for that. Let's change it up and jump out of Chagrin Falls Middle School, and let's go with your another teacher that you chose that's not in the middle school. So who is that person and why?
So I chose Mrs. Wallenhorst, who was my very first English teacher when I first moved here to Chagrin Falls. And I'm a military brat, So I move around every 4 years because my dad was in the Coast Guard. He retired a few years ago. So I'm very used to having to go to a new school and meeting new teachers, meeting new students. And the very first teacher that I met was Mrs. Wallenhorst. And I think that she definitely made an impact on me because, well, I'm a writer. And I've always been very timid about getting my writing out and feeling, oh, is my writing good enough or is it not good enough? And I feel that she definitely helped me get out of my comfort zone and helped me explore new genres, new things to write, new things to read. And I think she's just an amazing person overall who has seriously motivated me and is seriously someone who I look up to. So thank you, Mrs. Wallenhorst.
Wow, again, great description, and certainly you can tell you have passion for writing, and that she kind of lit that or ignited that as well. So I need to clarify though, military brat. That you're done moving around. Did I hear retirement? You're sticking with
Yes,
us, right?
yes, I'm staying here in Sugar Falls.
Oh, good to hear. All right, so let's wrap up the teacher segment of this, and why don't you give me your third choice for individual that you'd like to recognize?
So the last individual I would like to recognize is my amazing current English teacher, Mrs. Phillips, who is actually in the high school, but she is the 8th grade advanced English teacher, and she has just been amazing. And once again, I have a huge passion for writing and just English and language arts in general, and I feel that she has really expanded my knowledge and really helped me improve my writing so far. Like, I've just gone back a few days ago and just reading writing that I wrote at the beginning of the year compared to writing that I've done now, and it's just amazing. And she's such a patient and kind and caring person who, I mean, just every day, as soon as you walk into the classroom, she smiles, and I mean, it makes you smile back. I mean, she really is a role model to me, and I definitely look up to her a lot.
It's interesting in conducting these interviews. Um, a lot of the talents or the characteristics of these people that you are describing, they are those people. They're genuinely those people, right? So, Mrs. Phillips, she's so calming, she's so kind, she's so nice to talk to. You always feel better when you walk away from her, and that's who she is. And I think that she brings that personality to young people is great. And you talked about your passion with writing and improving and reflecting, so that's pretty tremendous. So let's give one last shout out to Mr. Toombs, Mrs. Wallenhorst, and Mrs. Phillips for making certainly an impact, a positive impact on Sophia. And I know all those other teachers that you had to interact with along the way certainly made a difference as well. So great job. Thank you for that. I do want to get, though, your feedback on how things have been going virtually. So just talk about your experience with virtual learning. Maybe what have you liked? What have you struggled with? And maybe what do you miss? So there's like 3 questions there, but I have a feeling you can manage it.
So definitely this online learning experience has been, well, new to everyone, and it's definitely been a huge roller coaster ride with tech issues and having been able to get the assignments out on time. But overall, I think it's been doing really well, and it's definitely been succeeding at our goal where students can still continue to learning even though we're at home. And overall, I think it's been doing really well. I mean, my first major concern when I heard this online digital learning was, like I mentioned before, I ask a lot of questions. So I was kind of wondering myself, how am I going to ask my teachers, like, just like the simple questions like, I'm sorry, but I don't really understand this assignment, or just any other questions in general. And I was often worried that they may not get back to me at the time when they needed the question to be answered. But I mean, I have been very surprised. They have been really on top of things and making sure that our assignments are out. They've been answering my questions anyway very recently. I've had maybe, I think the longest I've ever had to wait for a question was maybe 20 or 30 minutes or so. But they've been doing a really great job in making sure that everyone's understanding the assignments that they have to do, making sure that everyone's on task. And I think that they've just been doing a really great job overall. And I think that definitely they deserve this recognition, the teachers, definitely.
So what do you miss the most?
What do I miss the most? Oh, definitely the simple things I miss the most. I miss the early bus rides in the morning where everything's dark and I'm kind of just getting ready for my day. I miss walking through the busy halls of the middle school where there's just kids who are just talking to each other in the halls, and the teachers come out in the hallways and they're saying hello to everyone. I even miss the busy cafeteria where everyone's screaming and the lunch monitors are trying to get us to quiet down so they can bring us to recess. I definitely miss human interaction and being able to talk with people.
Yeah, it's come up a lot that, people seem to gain a little more appreciation for, what they have, and it's not things, it's people, it's that interaction piece that keeps coming up when I talk to people. So that seems like it's true with
Yeah,
you too.
definitely.
So, when I talked to the staff at the beginning of this, I said, no one thinks this is the best solution or the best way to educate children. We know this is a people business and interaction is important, but it's also an opportunity for us to learn and grow and maybe make changes that improves what we do when we get back to normal. So I have this last question, and I don't ever share it with you. I like to put you on the spot with it, but having been through this experience, if I gave you the kind of the keys to the car and made you superintendent next year, what pieces of this might you incorporate, or would you just say, no, Mr. Hunt, get it back to the way it was as in, a normal routine, and let's keep moving on?
I think that we can learn a really big lesson from this whole like self quarantine time and everything's online and we're always on our Chromebooks all day. And I think definitely, I think we could get back to normal, and it'd be something that I guess a lot of people would want, since I mean, we've kind of just been stuck in the house all day, looking at our electronics all day, and a lot of people want to have that human interaction again. But I think that we, like I said before, we can learn a lot from this and maybe incorporate a few ideas about this whole online learning experience into maybe our everyday life, and maybe not do it every single day to an extent like we're doing it now, but definitely use a lot of the new technology that we've learned and new virtual things that we've learned during this experience and definitely bring it into the classroom. I think would be a very, very wise idea.
Well, Sophia, I can tell you this. It didn't take me long to figure out why Mrs. DeSenda recommended that I talk to you. I want to thank you for being so prepared and being so articulate and sharing such wonderful thoughts about our teachers and our staff, as well as thoughts for me to consider as we, consider move towards coming back and returning to school. So thank you very much for everything you're doing at home and being the leader you are and spending some time with me today.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that I was given the honor to come and talk about our amazing, incredible teachers here at Chagrin Falls. And honestly, if I could do half of the things that they do for me, I would be happy for the rest of my life. So definitely a big thank you to all of the teachers. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, Sophia, you be safe, and we will see you and talk to you soon. We miss you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.